Where do you even start? Really tough. Oh god, jump it's heavier this side. Take one. Welcome to episode 20 of Alright, man. It's super cool to be out here in Takai rolling with the boys again. And thanks to all of you, the viewers, for giving us your feedback on things that you would like to see more of. And based on what you've been telling us pretty much over the last 20 episodes, something that's come up the most often is, please can you do something that is a basic introduction to trail riding and enduro. So we thought, okay, cool, let's go out there and do it. So we're here, and one thing I do want to say is that we're certainly no experts, but we thought we'd share our journey and things that we've done in terms of gearing up and changing setup on bikes and a few bits and pieces that really helped us along. Craig is definitely the most experienced. Tyron is quickly on the up curve there as well, but hell, we have a good time, we love riding our bikes, and yeah, we thought we'd spread the word and hopefully it helps you too. Let's go. One of the things we feel we need to address up front in this episode is the misconception that is out there around trail and enduro riding. You don't need to go out there and upgrade your bike straight away and spend lots of money doing it. You simply need to get out there on the bike that you have, make a few small adjustments, you'll be more comfortable, you'll find yourself coping and progressing quicker than you thought. So before we get into the details of how you can make tweaks to the bike that you already have to become more comfortable on the trail, we think we need to take a step back and talk you through some of the gear upgrades you might need to make so that you are safer out on the trail. The reality is that as you start to progress, you might buy some land from time to time. The good news is, though, with the right gear is that you will pretty much be all good, and yeah, definitely is a key confidence building point in the entire journey. So we're going to kick things off with the head going down to the feet. Ty's got two massive heads, hence he's got a massive helmet. And we're going to kick things off with the half shell. So this is a GOPRO fixture. Things I like about this, it's super light, it's got great ventilation, but most importantly it's got great coverage, especially around the back of your head, so that if you do find yourself going into some pretty gnarly OTB scenarios or pretty much just falling off a trail, you know you're sorted from a coverage point of view. Full face Rawlins though, talk us through that one.
This is the Fox Pro frame. Pretty much perfect for enduro, plenty of ventilation, deceivingly light for a full face helmet. Is also DH certified, and yeah, having that full face definitely just helps build the confidence and helps with the progression.
Next up is eyewear. It's important. You can see Tyron there is riding with goggles, and I'm going with some good coverage Oakley flight jackets here. The point is, when you're on the trail, especially on the cooler mornings, if you really start to send it, your eyes can well up a bit and can affect your vision on the trail. So it is important to invest in some good eyewear that's got good coverage, because it will make you kind of more confident in the sense that you can choose better lines. You're not trying to blink and get stuff out of your eyes. Next up is definitely gloves. I can show you there, you need full finger gloves that have got some good coverage on the palm, perhaps even some padding, not necessarily for your handlebars, but more if you do need to ever put a hand down at some point out on the trail. On the next on the hit list is knee guards. To be honest, I've probably found that between the helmets and knee guards, these have been the most beneficial in terms of building confidence. Ty's got some really cool like all-day trail ones on there.
Yeah, so these are pretty much just neoprene slip-on knee guards, a little bit of extra padding across the knee. Great for pedaling, doesn't affect you at all, and just again helping with the confidence. I've seen XC riders using this on trails. Yeah, you can use it on any trail. Like I said, doesn't hinder your pedaling, and just builds the confidence again.
If you are looking to get into more rocky stuff, like for us down in the Western Cape, got a lot of rocks here. The guys up in Johannesburg, Cradle area, a lot of gravity, a lot of rocks. You can go with something that's a little bit more bulky, and there are so many options out there. And then kind of wrapping things up is footwear. You definitely don't want to be going with your full like marathon / XC cleated vibe on the trails, especially if you are going to be walking pieces of trail to choose better lines. I've got something that is kind of a hybrid. I'm still cleated in and on my bike, but it is something that has got a more balanced tread pattern and way more comfortable to walk in. Tire over there has gone full flats though.
Yeah, I changed this year to the 510s. This is the Pro Freeride. It's no cleats, and yeah, it's great being able to put your foot down. It definitely took my times back a bit getting used to it, but it really helped with the skills, because now I know when I'm bunny hopping or something, I'm 100% in control of the bike, and it wasn't just lucking out because I was cleated in.
Yo DJ, spin that shit!
That's why I wear a full face.
What did you do?
Just following you again.
So we're on a good run there, and then it got kind of quiet, and normally when that happens you've got to look back, because 9 times out of 10 time mode's on the dirt. As well, I'm glad we got to demonstrate the fact that the protective wear actually works. Now that you got a solid idea of the protective wear that you need before heading out and onto the trails, we thought we'd take you through the least trail bike out of the 3 that we have here today, and that is without a doubt mine. It's a Piger Stage Max, and there are a couple of changes that I made to the bike to be able to enjoy myself on the trails a little bit more. I'm a really tall guy, so the first thing that I started with was going wider on my handlebars. It did take a bit of time to find that ideal width, but it was about 2-3 weeks after trying different ones out that I found that 800s were the best for me. So I really advise you to go out there, try them out, and see if you find any improvement or extra enjoyment coming out of your ride. The next for me, and probably the biggest game changer on the bike, was a drop a seat post. The argument that it's going to add extra weight and it's going to slow you down on the climbs and all that type of thing, for me for the most part is nonsense, because the confidence that it gives you on the descents makes up for that huge amounts. Look at this. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Look at this, man. You're trying to do a bike review here, and Tyron is going to go, what's going on here? Look at this, man.
Can't sit on the saddle. This is fully dropped, this post.
We bop and pretty hot, and as happy as I can be. Whoa, boom, boom, and pretty zoom. Love and work, run. We bop and pretty hot.
The Nikons are going to have to be a part of every shot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, next up was pedals. You don't want to be heading out and onto the trail, ideally speaking, with egg beater pedals, for example. You want something that's got a bit of a broader platform, something that if you do uncleat, that you know you can place your foot back onto, and you've got some good stability there. And then finally for me was the tires, going with something that was a bit more aggressive in tread pattern. I've got a couple of sets of different tires that I change for different conditions, because that's just the way that I've progressed as a rider. But generally my go-to tires are these Onza Ibex here, but you'll see the boys riding with other tires on their bikes. So those are the biggest changes for me that really helped improve my riding and have helped me progress and just enjoy myself more and more.
What's more dangerous about all rides? Riding or sitting around?
So to be honest, we're all kind of sitting here trying to figure out how the best way, or what the best way to close off this episode would be, and there's like a troop of baboons rolling in here behind us, so we're going to kind of keep it short and sweet as we can. Kind of in closing, we thought we'd share with you some bits of advice that people have given us along the way that have really helped us. So kicking off with Craig Rhodes Harrison, what would you say is your biggest advice you've been given, or best advice you want to pass on?
I think best advice just in general that I've received is smooth is fast and fast is fun. So it's like basically on the trail, don't always just be pushing the limits, look ahead, look what's out there, and just kind of cruise and have fun. And along the way, when you're not pushing it so hard, it comes more naturally, and then as a result you kind of tend to ease up, and when you're riding relaxed is when you're riding the best.
Ride with guys that are better than you. I think you get to
that's a good one.
watch them. I know that's why I said it.
Why do you ride with me?
Why do you ride with me, bro?
But yeah, I mean, the guys show you lines, they show you, you watch them having fun on the trail, and then you also start picking up stuff, where to Scandi, would learn what a Scandi is, bunny hops, jumping over stuff. So yeah, you finding new lines, being creative. So yeah, definitely getting out there and riding beyond, with guys that are much better than you to help you push your own boundaries.
Yeah, man, for sure. So for me, the biggest things that I've kind of taken out from the advice I've been given is be playful on the trails. So be playful on trails that you would traditionally just be riding, barreling down. Look for little features to start to play around on, and kind of progress from there, and enjoy the progression. Trust your bike. It's definitely more capable than you would think it is. And then lastly, be patient. Like, you'll see people out there absolutely shredding it. There's a very good chance that they've been doing it for a long time, and of course you want to stay injury free. So be patient, trust your bike, let it flow, and you'll have a good time. That's it from us from this episode of All Right, folks. We look forward to seeing you for the next one. Adios.